After a historic weekend at Indianapolis, the One-Up Superstar Series returns to where it all began to begin the second half of the 2021 season. We go back to where we started the entire season, at the Pensacola Super Speedway for round number 16 of the 2021 One-Up Superstar Series schedule. And alongside me in the booth is Duke Ansack for today's race. And it's a super speedway. You gotta love them. High speed action, close quarters action. The big one lurks around every corner. Sound like I'm repeating myself from yesterday's race, but same rules apply. Everything up for grabs, and everybody will be giving it 110% here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. You know, these races are always spectacular. Yesterday, we saw a fantastic race with a fantastic finish. And today, I have a feeling we're going to see the same thing, except now we're watching the superstar cars do it. You know, and these guys are they're only faster. They're only more aggressive. They're only more experienced, you know, at making better moves. And, you know, this race is just going to be fantastic. I can't see it going any other way. So I really think that it's going to all be about, just like yesterday, who can be up front, stay up front, and who can move through the pack the best. And that car will win the race today.
Not so much of a surprise looking at the starting lineup that Blair in the 19 gets pole position for the second time this season. She was fast all speed weeks in March, so she put herself on pole here tonight with Roberto Crown Jr. alongside her in second, Stephen Hunter, the defending champion, in third, alongside Sam Denoto, who had a rough outing last night. He'll start fourth, and Daniel Bouchard rounds out the top five. He's got his teammates all right next to him. Bobo Jones in seventh, William Brock in eighth. So that Genesis Engineering team looks like they could be a big threat as this night progresses.
Absolutely. You know, any of these cars that are starting this race have a chance to win, and it's all going to be about timing, luck, how you make your moves, and when. And then whoever's up front at the end of the race, you know, as elementary as it sounds, it's going to be the one who crosses the stripe first. And it doesn't matter how much you're ahead, as long as you are ahead at the end of this race.
So with that being said, all the cars are lined up, and we're ready to bring you the action from the Pensacola Super Speedway. It's the One-Up Superstar Series from the Pensacola Super Speedway, and the green flag is next. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss it. As the pace car pulls on the pit road, it leaves us with Blair on the inside, Crown on the outside. The green flag is in the air, and we're underway for 50 laps around the Pensacola Super Speedway. The field's starting to fan out down the front straightaway. They often do when on the initial start, but Blair in the 19, with help from Stephen Hunter and Bobo Jones, is going to lead going into turn one.
Look at that. They're already three wide. They weren't even halfway through the first set of corners before they went three wide. I mean, you know these guys are pros, and it's just crazy to watch them at work. And of course, Stephen Hunter is sitting there menacingly in second place already, looking at Blair in the 19. Trying to maybe set up a pass here. You know, you want to be up front. I would try to stay content right here. Well, never mind. Stephen Hunter never content with second place. Headed to the front of the pack on lap one.
With 3 wins already this season, he's looking to add a 4th. Remember, he won the night race at Daytona last year. He's trying to do the same here tonight. As Stephen Hunter leads the first lap of the race. We've only completed 1 lap, and we've already got an average speed of over 200. That just goes to show how fast these cars can get. They can go up to 225, 230 at this racetrack, much faster than the Nitro National cars do. Last night, and Roberto Crown Jr. was in that race last night. He learned some tips and tricks from those Saturday racers, and he will take the lead for the first time down the backstretch on lap number 2 with Bobo Jones and Stephen Gale in hot pursuit.
Yeah, and you know, it might not seem like it because this type of racing doesn't really change a lot, you know, but I have a feeling that those guys that were in that race last night might have a little bit of an advantage today, you know, because they've got that experience from yesterday. They know what to look for and, well, they're leading or what to do to keep the lead, but of course right there, the 86 car just kind of snuck down low and got to the inside of Crown Jr. right there. But I think that him and Sam Denotto, they're going to probably have an advantage in this race at some point, just because they know how the cycle works, how going to the back works and coming back up to the front, what they want to do, where they want to go, who they want to work with, and stuff like that. So I think that could lead to them having an advantage. But of course, it's only lap 3. It's still really, really early to be able to tell something like that in this race.
So Bobo Jones takes the lead of the race from Roberto Crown Jr. off of turn 4. The 86 will take the lead for the first time in. We had 3 leaders in the 3 laps so far, and it's Jones who continues to lead the way. But Roberto Crown Jr. is getting the run on the high side. He's edging out ahead of the 86. But Jones has got a run on the bottom. They're going to trade the lead back and forth, heading down the back straightaway. Oh man, these cars are just so close together, and they're 3 and 4 wide behind them. Anything can happen in this race. Anybody can win it, and we've got trouble, big trouble in the back of this field. Huge trouble, and it continues on. Zachary Fitzwater's involved, Miles Mashburn's in it, Ben McDonald's involved, Kevin Carter is in this wreck, Ryan Soper with damage. Oh my goodness, there's so many cars that were involved in this wreck. We got Blair in the 19, who she was the pole sitter. Daniel Bouchard's got damage, Michael McCuskey has damage as well. J.D. Martin, Jordan Presto, Nelson Reeves, Kyle Vaughters, Arthur Xavier, Nick Ortiz. The list goes on and on. But man, I think half the field's out of the race now.
You know, I was just about to say, I was starting to get nervous. At the beginning of these races, people are aggressive. They're ready to go. They've been getting pumped up all day. It's a night race. The fans are out, and everybody's getting excited. And then it leads to this being too aggressive, too early in this race. And now we have a bunch of wrecked cars. And I would like to see how this happened, and we will at some point in the near future. But man, oh man, I hope that everybody's okay. And oh my gosh, what a disappointing way to start this race.
I didn't see anybody go over like we saw last night, so that's a good sign. But the car count in this wreck, much more massive than we saw in the... I counted 18 cars in that wreck. So if they all fall out of the race, which I assume they will, we'll only have 24 cars lining up for the restart here.
Yeah, you know, I counted a lot of cars in that wreck. I don't know how you were able to count that many so quickly.
At least 18, I should say.
Yeah. So this is, I don't know, I guess we're about to find out if people are going to pit here. I can't imagine.
A couple are, not many though.
They have damage, though.
The cars, McDonald and Hunter are going to come in. Hunter's got mild damage on the rear end. He's going to fix that. All the cars with damage are going to come in this race 10 laps longer than the Nitro National race last night. So it's just going to, the pit strategy is going to be very different, as it looks like Soper is actually going to try and continue on with that damage. So good on him. But McCuskey out of the race. Mashburn looks like he's going to try and continue. Christian Vargas out of the race. Diego Yepes out of the race. Zachary Fitzwater out of the race. Man, that's his 6th DNF this season, tops of all drivers. And all that work he did to get into the top 30 in points, gone now. So this is where it all begins. Up front, Zachary Fitzwater. Oh, it looks like it starts back there with Vargas and Ortiz, I'm sure. And then it's just another incident up here with Henry Brown, Ben McDonald, Fitzwater, and Mashburn. But man, it looks like it really started behind them with Vargas and Ortiz getting caught up in this melee. So I'm not sure. Looks like Cody Goforth got a piece of damage. That's unfortunate for him. Joshua Michaels with damage. Stephen Gale with damage. Andres Molina with a tiny bit. Christian Vargas done for the day. Obviously, and Zachary Fitzwater is as well. Looking now from high above, you can see Vargas and Ortiz just get really close together. That's where all these wrecks start. 2 cars getting extra close together. And then it just sets off a chaotic melee here. You can see it. Nelson Reeves with damage. Blair just barely sneaks through. Daniel Bouchard with damage. Stephen Gale, Jordan Presto, Kyle Vaughters.
There's just nowhere to go once that many cars are wrecking and sliding and stopped on the track. I mean, the people coming so fast behind, there's no way they can be expected to break that much. And then they just pile into the pile up. And man, oh man, it happens so fast. You know, 2 cars in the same spot, and it just, you know, one of them gets hooked, and then there's nothing they can do.
And Christian Vargas entered this race third in the points as well. He's going to have to be a huge blow to that 54 car. But the two championship protagonists of Hutchinson and Polanski made it through, but you can see...
Oh my gosh. Look, there's only going to be 24 cars left on the lead lap, or in the race at all, because 25th place is retired. It's the 66 car of J.D. Martin. So, man, oh man, that is just a catastrophic accident to start this race. And now it's changed the whole complexion because there's so few cars left. You know, it's I believe that's over half the field, right, or almost.
I don't think our crash graphic will be able to show all the cars involved in this wreck. It's only meant to hold 6 cars, and we've already had over triple that. We can guarantee that at least 21 cars were involved in this wreck. A few of them have been able to continue, but the vast majority are done for today on just lap number 5. Wow. So we're going to continue this race with 24 cars still running, a lot of them severely damaged. In reality, I think we're only going to have, like, maybe 16 cars that can win this race now.
Yep, and a lot of lap cars to contend with. So it's going to be a grueling 40-some laps left in this race, I believe, for these racers, because it's going to be a lot of shuffling. When you get shuffled to the back of the pack now in this race, you're going to get to the front pretty quickly. So it's going to be a lot of shuffling, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of avoiding lap cars that are going to be out there trying to just get points and stay in this race at all costs, but going significantly slower than everybody else in the field. You know, it's just going to be a big game of luck still. You know, it's still the same track, still the same race, still the same style of racing, but it's going to be just a little bit more condensed at this point.
So we'll have 24 cars continuing this race, all of whom will be on the lead lap at this point in time. With Bobo Jones leading the way, Jared Polanski second, Roberto Crown Jr. third, Jerry Cook, who also ran a Nitro National Series race. He's actually made it further in this race than he did last night. He only managed to make it 6 laps there before being eliminated in an accident there as well. So Cook running in 4th. Hutchinson rounds out the top 5. You have Henry Thomas in 6th, J.Q. Halleck 7th, Jacob McMillan 8th, Patrick Smith running 9th, and Lane Sanders, the 500 winner from March, rounding out the top 10. We have half a lap to go until the restart, but a lot fewer cars ready to contest this one. Thankfully, it'll be single file, but I'm sure they'll waste no time getting back to 2 and 3 wide.
Yeah, it's single file for now, but they will definitely be probably 3 and 4 wide coming out of turn 2. That's my guess, at least a couple rows back. So we'll see. Now, last night we saw cars that were able to stay ahead. You know, they were able to hold on the bottom of the track. And one of the things about this racetrack is coming out of the corners as the leader, you've got a lot of pressure on the front of your car, air pressure that's creating a lot of downforce, and it makes it so that your car is not able to turn quite as well off of the corners. So you'll slide up the track a little bit if you don't have enough front grip. And when that happens, it allows people from behind you who are in the less dense air in your draft, they're able to sneak underneath and make the pass. So if your car is good enough to stay on the bottom lane in this race, you're going to be able to hold the lead. And now we've got the restart. The 86 and the 18 take you there.
Green flag back in the air at Pensacola. Bobo Jones leads the way. And as he said, they're fanning out already, 2 wide at least, into the first corner. Jones leads the way from Crown, who moves up into 2nd place. Polanski drops back a bit. Jerry Cook makes his way up into the 4th. I feel Cook, he announced over the week that this will be his only season in one-up competition. He will retire at season's end after a disappointing Nitro National Series season. But he has had some good runs in the Superstar Series. 2 top 5s in the It's a shame to see him go, but at least he'll leave on a good note with these good runs he's having in the Superstar Series, because he's still running in the top 10 here at
Absolutely, you know, and boy, I bet you that team would really, really love to get a win at this point in the season. After an announcement like that, a disappointing one, but of course it's a calming You know, the feeling you get after that. And of course, right now I have a feeling that the driver's side of the 6 car is not feeling calm at all because of what is going on in this race. And we now see that the 84 car has taken the lead. That's Halleck right there in the 84.
JQ Halleck in the 84. They've had an average season. They've plummeted down the points recently, down to 22nd. They've been running in the top 20 in points most of the season, if not all of it. But now, with help from Patrick Smith, they're going to come off turn 4, and they're going to lead this lap here in that 84 Monster Energy Ford. Their status for 2022 not yet secure. Will they come back to drive alongside Dylan Young in that 77 car next year? Or will they make room for another new driver? It'll be interesting to see that development. But right now, they're making a very good pace to keep their ride right now because they're running in the lead with help from Patrick Smith in that 07.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just now noticing that Jake McMillan right there in the 21 car, he is running up front in this race right now, and he was in the race yesterday, so he knows what to do in this situation. He knows where he needs to place his car to get to the lead, and the 07 of Patrick Smith is going for the lead in the 84. It's only those two out front right now. They've got quite the gap from behind. And now the lead is contested there side by side, and that's going to let everybody from behind catch right up to them.
Being led by Jeffrey Finguy in the 92, who entered today 7th in points. Finguy washes up high. McMillan goes down low. McMillan entered today only 2 points to the good as far as making the playoffs are concerned. So he needs a solid day here to progress even further up the ladder, as now Halleck, with help from Finguy and Herman, who Herman actually originally announced he was going to retire at season's end, but he's changed his mind in the few days since, and now he's going to make a move down to the Truck Series for 2022. So we'll still see Richard Herman around the One Up Racing Series, just in a limited capacity, and he's hoping to make these final 15 races in his Superstar Series pretty good. And right now, he's doing a good job. He's running in the top 10, or just fell outside the top 10.
Boy, they are running really, really close together. I mean, I thought that they would be a little bit less aggressive after seeing such an enormous crash, but they're not at all. They are, like, on top of each other in this race. They were 4 wide, 2 rows deep, because that's all the amount of cars they have. They were running as wide as they could possibly run mathematically in this race for a minute there, and this is just incredible. But look at that, 21 cars sitting there in second place. I see Sam Dinoto back there. I saw Crown Jr. was also back there, sitting here, yeah, right there in the bottom lane. So this first group, there are 3 cars that were in. Well, the car wasn't in the race yesterday, but the driver was. You know, so that experience is just there. And now here we have the 8 car making a move for second place. Everybody's packed back together, right behind JT.
And that's Henry Thomas in the 8 after a strong top 5 finish at Indianapolis. That moved him into the top 20 in points. And now he's knocking on the door for the lead as Halleck leads the way. But Henry Thomas is just lurking back there. And Jerry Cook as well. Cook also ran in the Nitro National Series race last night, along with the 3 you mentioned. And he's got help from his Nitro National Series friend, Roberto Crown Jr. in the 81. So those cars are going to be serious contenders tonight. I'm not sure who's going to win it, but as Thomas makes a move for the lead on Halleck to start lap number 15, the field just fans out once again. Just goes to show everybody wants to fight for every position on the racetrack, no matter what lap it is, whether it be the last lap or whether it be right now with 35 laps to go.
Yeah, this racing really feels like there are few laps left in this race. There's a lot of racing left today. You know, they 35 laps to go. That is plenty of time. And if you wreck your race car right now, you're going to be in a really tough situation. And we just flipped to the 51 car a couple of times. Is that going to be a problem soon? It looked like that car was going pretty slow.
Definitely, that 51 well off the pace after that lap 5 accident. So with Roberto Crown Jr. now in a 3-wide battle for the lead, they're going to catch Stephen Hunter, and they're going to catch him quickly. The only question is, will he be in the way as much as Alexa Lutchen was last night? Because if that's the case, this field is going to be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, they are running 4 wide too. I mean, even if the 51 wanted to get out of the way, there's not many places to go. if they don't catch him on the straightaway, they're going to have to figure something out quick, this pack, because they're running 3 and 4 wide all the way around. One of the lanes is going to suffer from catching that lap car, and I know that there are more lappers to come in this race. There's too much time left and too many damaged cars out there on the track for them to not be a factor today.
So Henry Thomas comes out turn 4. He will take the lead for the first time tonight, with Polanski right behind him. And there they are. You see Stephen Hunter losing more and more time to the race leaders. There you see him in the shot. They're going to catch him going down the back straightaway, it looks like. Or even sooner, here they are to catch Stephen Hunter. And he backs up the field in a big way. That's going to allow Polanski to get alongside Henry Thomas and side by side right behind Hunter. And look at that inside line with McMillan, Cook, Denoto, and Blair. Blair's caught up to this pack. They're all going to power around and take the top 4 positions here just because of Stephen Hunter getting in the way of the leaders.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You know, they made a really good decision right there and broke away. They went to the bottom. Of course, they caught that 51 car in the corner, so the 51 couldn't move to the bottom of the track, and then by the time they were in the straightaway, he was getting passed on the bottom. So you know, what are you going to do? There's nowhere to go for anybody in that situation. It looks like the draft is going to allow some of these folks to catch back up and maybe create a new pack from the leaders. But Jerry Cook is out front right now, followed by Sam Denoto, Blair, and McMillan are all there. And then here comes Polanski making a move for the 4th position. So, you know, we got some racing going on here. We'll have to wait for a wider camera angle to see who all is still in it after that and who has fallen behind. It looks like
that pack has definitely been strung out. And for the record, 3 of the top 6 were in that Nitro National Series race last night. So it just goes to show experience in that race does matter. As you can see, Jerry Cook, even though he only ran 6 laps in that race, is proving that he learned from it, because right now he's enjoying a lead. His first laps, I believe his first laps led since... His first laps led in a while. It's definitely his first laps led tonight. So Jerry Cook out in front of this race, with 2 Fords battling it out for second right behind him.
Absolutely, you know, and not only did he get the experience and practice and stuff from being in the race for those few laps, but he also did all the practices. He qualified in that Nitro car. So this is all reaping the benefits from that race, you know, and we're seeing the 21 car, another driver in that same situation, making a move for the lead on the bottom.
Jake McMillan has not led a lap all season long. Could that change here tonight? McMillan, who started today 12th in the points, the last car in the playoffs right now, but he hasn't even led a lap all season long. Could tonight be the night that he changes that fact, because he's got his teammate Henry Thomas right alongside him in the battle for the lead. Thomas and McMillan battling for the lead. Thomas is going to edge out McMillan on the top side, and McMillan's going to fade a little bit, and that's going to allow the 8 back into the lead of this race from 7th to 1st in just 1 lap. Henry Thomas leads at Pensacola with 30 laps to go.
Wow, and the McMillan really was looking like he was going to be able to lead that lap, finally break the barrier, but the 8 car comes surging on the bottom with help from the 18. It was just no shot of leading the lap with that kind of help behind. So, and you know, and then we also got Patrick Smith right there as well. JQ Halleck is still in this thing. Sam Denoto is back there. I mean, there's some power vehicles left in this race, but at the same rate, we're not even halfway through. I wouldn't be surprised if we got another couple of yellows.
And they're going to go 3 wide for 3rd with Jones, Halleck, and Polanski in that battle. But Thomas and Smith are clear of this. Well, Smith now has Jones to his inside, but now they're clear again. Smith goes to the inside for the lead, but Henry Thomas is just lurking on that outside, trying to see if he can't get help from that 84. And but Patrick Smith just got too much help on the inside. He's going to take the lead, and he's got his teammate back there, 2 cars back in Sam Denoto. So could the Carter Racing System cars make a run at it? Their other 2 teammates were eliminated in that lap 5 crash. So they are the only 2 Carter Racing System cars left in this race, and they're both running in the top 3 right now.
Yeah, you know, and those are fast race cars that they've got, especially here at the super speedways, you know. And of course, we know that Sam Donota has experience. Now, here's something interesting. I just saw a tandem of race cars that are about to go a lap down, and they're getting caught very quickly. There's two of them right there.
That's Diego Yepes in the 77, Andres Molina, last week's winner in the 71. They're both going to go a lap down, and that is going to just stack up the leaders once again. Wow. Oh, man. This is going to get hairy here for us.
I was going to say they held the bottom, but they moved up, and now they're getting split. And it looks like Polanski, Finn Guy are both going to be stuck behind. It's going to... Oh, look out. My gosh, Blair got really close right there, and Sam Donota was almost able to be the leader, but Halleck is going to take it with help from Hutchinson and McMillan from behind. We'll see if this pack is able to kind of stay in the draft together, and there's people moving all around really quickly. I keep thinking they're wrecking because of how crazy the moves are. We'll see. This looks like it'll split this pack up significantly. We're only going to end up with 6 cars in this first one. Unless Finn Guy is able to sniff that draft, but we'll see. We'll see if it happens. Maybe these cars on the outside are going to fall far enough behind to allow some drafting from the back.
Believe it or not, only one of the Finish Line Motorsports cars was eliminated in that wreck, Nick Ortiz in the 91. The other 3 are still running in this race, and believe it or not, all 3 of them are running in this lead pack. Hutchinson, who's not taking the lead, Blair right behind him, and Ricky Freeman Jr. on the outside lane. So all 3 of these Finish Line Motorsports cars having a good run. Unfortunately for Jerry Cook, his engine just soured, and that's the end of his race on lap 24 just as we crossed halfway. Jerry Cook will finish in the 24th position out of the race. So, unfortunate for Jerry Cook, both of his races at Pensacola will end early, but he had a very fast car here tonight.
Yes, he did. You know, that's just so disappointing. But that team is going to come back. They're going to have good runs. They're going to be able to figure something out in this race, or not in this race, in this season. But you know, that's just really disappointing for this race, for that 6 car to be done after having such a good shot at winning.
But we have a pack once again, and it's about 12 cars strong, and it looks like Halleck will continue to lead the way ahead of Hutchinson and McMillan. The rest of the pack's pretty far back. The Finn Guy's starting to sniff the draft a little bit, like you said, and he's going to latch onto the back of this train here. And Blair is going to pull the second pack along with her to try and close the gap even further. But right now, it's Halleck and Hutchinson going to be side by side for the lead going into turn 3. Hutchinson's got Finn Guy right behind him. The 2 Fords going to work together in the draft. And Halleck's going to have help from McMillan on the high side. I just don't know if it's going to work out.
It doesn't look like it will. It's that outside lane, there's no help up there in comparison to the bottom. It's incredible. But yeah, there's just there's not enough momentum to outweigh the short track that is on the bottom lane. Because it is shorter around it. Here they're catching up to the 51 car again. We'll see.
Oh, and that slows the inside line by a ton. That's going to let Halleck get out all by themselves. And Hunter is now holding up both lines equally to slow all of them down. So, if they can get around Hunter, they will easily be able to track down Halleck in the 84, because that car is all by itself in the lead of this race. Although Crown looks like he'll drop to the very tail end of the line as a result of Hunter's interference. But JQ Halleck has to track all of themselves right now. They've got a very handy lead. The question is, how long will it last? Because right now, that pack is going at least 15 miles an hour faster than the 84 car is by itself.
Yeah, you'd think that being this far ahead would be a helpful thing. At every other racetrack, just about. It's great to have that big of a lead, but here it's a huge disadvantage. As you'll see here, they're just going to blow by him. Wow, unless he did a really great block.
They actually caught Halleck. They caught up to Halleck, but now they're just going to push them along in the 84. So Halleck is going to continue on in the lead of this race. He's actually running pretty low on the racetrack compared to everybody else on the racetrack, and it looks like he's actually going to come down pit road. JQ Halleck is going to get this round of stops started early here at Pensacola, all by themselves. Well, Richard Herman's coming with them, but still, That is not at all what Halleck wanted to see. Halleck wanted everybody to come with them. But now, Halleck's going to be all by themselves on the racetrack, and that is going to likely spell an end to their hopes of winning this race.
Yeah, so some of you keen-eyed watchers might be thinking, well, what about this short pit? You know, there's no short pit here. You want to be pitting with a big group of race cars because you want to come out of the pits with drafting help. That's why all these cars are going so much faster. They're all in the big pack. They're all drafting with each other. They're all going faster. So if you don't pit with a group of cars, you're going to be stuck without the draft for a couple laps. And you might not be able to get it back once everybody else pits. So these guys are staying out yet again. That is not going to work out well for JQ Halleck.
Right now it's Patrick Smith in the lead of this race. The rookie, 07, Eekert Sparkplugs Toyota for Carter Racing Systems. He's got help from Justin Hutchinson and Jeffrey Finguy in the 92. And as they roar down the back straightaway once again, they'll come to 20 laps to go at the line. My question is, when are these cars going to come in? As you see Hutchinson make a move for the lead down on the inside. The question is, when are these cars going to come in? And how many are going to come with each other?
Yeah, you know that you really, when you want to pit at a super speedway like this, you want to have all the people you want to pit with on the very inside. And it looks like nobody's coming this time, but it would be ideal if they could get single file as they go 3 wide while I'm saying this. If they could go single file, they could all come into the pits in an orderly manner, be able to make it through, and then all come out together and race for the win. But the chances of that happening are slim, I believe, just because of the fact that they're all racing against each other all the time. So, you know, it's going to be one of those things where we'll see what happens, but it could be dangerous coming into the pits. Not everybody is on the same.
Absolutely. Smith continues to lead the way with Hutchinson and Finguy side by side behind him. Henry Thomas had a flyer of about 46.11. That's a very good time around this place. In the draft, he will hold the fastest lap of the race as Smith leads them across the line. 19 now laps to go here at Pensacola. Question is, when are these cars going to pit? How many are going to pit together? And what will they take? Will they take 2 tires? Will they take 4? Will they go gas only? That's a big factor as well. You got to all be on the same page as far as strategy goes at this place. Because if you guys all do different things, you're all going to come out at different times. And that's going to really slow everybody down.
For sure, you know, and then at the same rate, you know, how much do the tires matter in this race? How much are you going to get an advantage by having more grip at a track like this, you know? Is it a lot or is it not? I'm not totally sure in this race. It looks like the 18 is going to pit here, and I don't know if anybody's coming with them or not. It didn't look like a lot. I mean, we still got a significant pack here. Yeah, that's going to be bad for Polanski because he pitted all by himself or with one or two.
I think Ricky Freeman Jr. came in the 01, so they will likely be working together for the rest of the race. But we still have 9 cars in this lead pack, and I don't see any of them coming in unless they're coming in with a friend. Because we got a whole spread of manufacturers at the front of this field. We got some Toyotas up front, we got Chevrolets up there, we got a couple Fords, and Bobo Jones is the only Dodge representative in this lead pack. But we do have all 4 makes represented in this lead group as they're coming up to lap Ryan Soper, but he's going to come into the pits along with Crown, Finguy, and Denoto. So that is going to open the door for Patrick Smith to stay out with Justin Hutchinson and Jake McMillan. And yes, it looks like they will be the only 3 that will come down to pit. Actually, Denoto stayed out along with Henry Thomas. So those 5 are the only cars yet to stop. There's Halleck all by themselves on the racetrack. That's going to effectively end their bid for victory here at Pensacola. It's a shame they had such a good run going, but right now they're side by side for the lead, even by themselves. Hutchinson and Smith side by side, but I'm curious as to when these 2 will come in. It looks like Hutchinson's going to come in right now, and he looks like he will, and McMillan's going to come with him. So that leaves Patrick Smith as the 1 car still on this racetrack. Denoto stayed out with him. Oh, and that's good. That is good. That was a close shave with Halleck. But actually, this could help Smith. If he stays in Halleck's draft, this could help Smith just gain more time by staying out. I'm not sure how well it'll work out. But Smith and Denoto are the only two cars still on the racetrack. The two Carter Racing System cars, they want to pit together, and it looks like they gotta come in this time because they're just going to lose a lot of time to the cars around them.
I don't know if it's. I mean, you know, that group that came in with 3 or 5 cars. It was the second group. Here comes the pit stop from Patrick Smith. But I think that group is going to be the one that ends up ahead. They're going to have the most drafting help when they come out of the pits. Of course, that is if they all did the same thing. So we'll see where they are if they're all together. That was a big group of cars. Surely there's a group somewhere. We're going to have to wait and see how it cycles out because Patrick Smith is still ahead. 10 cars right there. You know, Hutchinson was up there. He was in 3rd place. So we'll see. Maybe he's going to be ahead of McMillan to pass everybody. We'll just see how they come across the line.
So Hutchinson, we're tracking Hutchinson right now because there's the big pack right behind. Split up into 2 groups there. But they are going to be a lot faster than Hutchinson will be all by himself. So Finn Guy will leave that second pack to close right in on Hutchinson, and there's Denoto coming out of the pits. Hutchinson will easily get around him. I'm not sure if he's going to catch Patrick Smith or not. I think Smith might actually keep the lead as they come out of the pits because Hutchinson's roaring down the back straightaway. Smith is still getting up to speed, but I think he's just going to be ahead enough to where Smith will keep the lead. Yes, he will. Patrick Smith holds the lead, but Hutchinson's going to close right in, and Finn Guy and the rest of that pack is going to close in at a ridiculous rate. Here they come off of 4.
Oh yeah, they're right on the way now. This race is going to still be anybody's race to win right here. Look at how fast they're going. They're going to leave Finn Guy up to the top to deal with the 10 car. Oh, maybe they won't. Let's see what happens. Let's see which way they go. Around. Or they're just going to push me.
They're going to pick him up, and they're all going to try and make their way around Patrick Smith. But now they lay Hutchinson out to dry as Finn Guy makes a move on the inside to try and get around Hutchinson for a second. Remember, Finn Guy has never won a super speedway race in his career, and it would be a very good thing if he could pull it off. Bobo Jones, remember, has a win at Daytona. He's a very good super speedway racer. Stephen Hunter, who they're about to lap, has a win at Daytona as well, but he's not going to be a factor in winning this race. He's about to go, I believe, a 3rd lap down.
Will, however, be a factor in which of these guys wins the race up here because he's slowing up the outside and middle lanes. Oh my gosh, what a disappointment. That is just absolutely terrible. He's held up. I can't tell. It looks like Hutchinson is up there being held up. I couldn't tell who else. Maybe Polanski was. Yeah,
that'll be a factor in the championship fight as well. But Jake McMillan, with help from his teammate Thomas, they are now leading this race. Could this be the lap that McMillan leads for the first time all season long? They're coming through 3 and 4, and I don't think Thomas is going to make a move on him this time. So coming off of 3 and 4, Jake McMillan is going to lead a lap for the first time all season long, and he does it at the Super Speedway of Pensacola. We would have expected him to make that happen at Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time, but no, he's getting it done right now.
Yeah, well, the 8 car didn't let it last for very long because it went to the bottom with the help of Sam Denoto, and they've got a big group of race cars that they are catching right now. This is going to be very interesting to see how they navigate these lapped cars and these cars with damage. It looks like they're going to go low, the 77. Oh, Sam Denoto! Bad time to make a move. He backed out of it wisely down the back stretch there. 77 is going to hold up to 21. Oh, my gosh. Jake McMillan is really going to just struggle. And then Hutchinson as well. 2 for 2 there, and look at that. We've got more people holding up the leaders. It's the 72. And we've got...
That's the 15 of Anderson Reed from the 15, the rookie, who will go a lap down to the leaders here as Denoto tries to take the lead of this race for the first time tonight. But he's going to have to hold off Finn Guy and these others to get there. We're coming to 10 laps to go this time. How many more lap cars are these guys going to have to face?
I have no idea. I expect that they're going to have to go up against the 51 car once or maybe twice more if the timing is right. There's the 71. There's one right there that we hadn't known about. And oh my gosh, Finn Guy, look at this. They're going to be way ahead, this group of 2 cars. Oh, and they're still being held up behind the big pack. This is awesome for these two cars out front because they have each other to draft with, and nobody has been let through after that other lap car. That was a really lucky moment. Looks like Sam Donotto has gotten through the lap cars. He's leading that pack back there now. Oh boy, we're going to see how this goes because now it's going to be a game of catch-up.
And with Finguy and Bobo Jones tandeming by themselves, I'm curious if that's going to pay dividends, if that's going to be faster or not than the big pack behind them, because the gap was about a full second when they crossed the line that last time by. I'm curious if that's going to grow or if it's going to shrink a little bit, because they're all side by side behind Finguy and Jones, and these two are just bumper to bumper the entire way around. But the gap did go down by about a tenth or two, so
they're gaining time.
They're going to catch up to these guys. They're going to get past these guys. But how long will it take? Because right now, we've got 9 laps to go at Pensacola, and these two have a very nice lead, as we only have 17 cars on the lead lap, with about 5 more in danger of going a lap down before this thing's over.
Oh boy, they were catching up before, and now that these two cars are going to be side by side, they'll be catching up with Mustard at this point in the race. So that group led by Sam Donotto, they are going to be on an absolute hot streak. They're going to get up there and they're going to try to pass by, and then we've got
here comes that's Ben McDonald and William Brock in the 93 and the 12. They're going to be holding these guys up just as they got caught back up. McDonald is going to get in the way of these guys. Brock's going to fall in as well. Looks like they're going to hold up the pack about the same. This is just going to bunch everybody back together. So Finguy and Jones remain side by side, but McDonald is just, I don't know where he's going to go. He's got a lane up high to go if he needs to, but I don't see him going there.
Stick around right there in the middle, and there's 3 wide right there with the lapper, and now we've got Finguy is going to get through. It looks like the 10, the 18 are also, but the 93 is going to hold up Sam Donotto, Patrick Smith on the outside. We've got the 01 in that group that's coming through on the bottom. Okay, this might not have broken up the pack as much as we thought it might have because of how they were spaced. We'll see, though. We're going to see what happened.
And we've got some more lap traffic up ahead, so it's going to be interesting to see if they catch up or not. But here they are, the 2 championship protagonists running 1-2 in this race. Justin Hutchinson, second in points. Jared Polansky, your points leader. Polansky held a massive points lead over Hutchinson going into this race, partly in part due to the fact that Hutchinson had a dreadful race at Indianapolis, and Polansky had a runner-up finish there. So Polansky gets around Hutchinson, and I believe this 18 car is going to lead this lap here. That's critical for Polansky because he'll get a bonus point for doing that, and Hutchinson has one as well, so that'll put him back even again. I was going to say that those two drivers have very similar statistics for this whole season, so it makes sense that they're 1-2. But Jared Polansky, he has got about a 60-point lead, just less than a 60-point lead over Justin Hutchinson. So Hutchinson, it's in great interest of that team to get back up front in this race and beat Jared Polansky. Definitely, because Polansky is a full race ahead of Justin Hutchinson. Even if Polansky did not start this race, Hutchinson would not be able to catch him, even if he scored max points tonight. That just goes to show the points lead that Jared Polansky has. As it comes to 5 laps to go here at Pensacola, Polansky leads the way.
Boy, so this race is really coming down to the wire. We're looking at 3 and 4 wide still. I mean, they have been racing like this all night, even after the big crash on the beginning of the race, you know. So this is just incredible. Now is when it counts, though. Now is when it's time. You want to be up front at this point in the race. You want to get there. You want to lead the laps. You want to be in position to win the race. So everybody who has been trying to set themselves up, trying to learn things throughout this race, trying to go to the back and learn how to get to the front, learn which lanes you need to go with, who are good people to work with, who can you pass, who can you not pass, who can you pass where. It's all those things right now are coming together, and you need to make it happen because there's only 4 laps left.
Polansky leads the way. Finguy and Crown side by side for second. Hutchinson now gets alongside Crown for the third position. Jeffrey Finguy has never won on a super speedway. Jared Polansky has never won on a super speedway. Justin Hutchinson hasn't either. Bobo Jones, of course, does have a win at Daytona, but this is a completely different animal with no tri-oval to speak of here, as Jeffrey Finguy moves to the inside as they catch Stephen Hunter once again to put him a fourth lap down, and this is going to completely destroy Jared Polansky's efforts here at Pensacola, because now it's Finguy and Hutchinson that are tandeming together. They are going to have a substantial lead over McMillan and the rest of this pack, coming to 3 laps to go.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to tell if they're going to be able to stay out there or not. This pack behind that usually ends up pretty tight after the lap cars. They're really strung out right now, all in single file. They're all pretty spaced apart. I mean, this is going to be Finguy and Hutchinson. They're going to want to try to settle it between themselves here. I don't know if they're going to get caught unless they go side by side. If they go side by side, they're going to go.
You mean like that?
They did it right there, so I bet you they will get caught by whoever is back there. I mean, they're going to be side by side. There's no help from either of them, so they're going to go side by side for third as well in the pack. So maybe not. This could be the race for the win right here with 2 laps to go.
If I was going to ask, where do you think Hutchinson will make his move? He's already made his move, going into turn 1 with 2 laps to go. But now, McMillan and Donato have settled their differences and are now running solidly in 3rd and 4th, tracking down the 2 leaders. You can see that they, along with Ricky Freeman Jr., have caught this lead group. What will Freeman do to try and help his teammate advance in this race? Because right now, Finguy's gotten back underneath Hutchinson for the lead. Sam Donato pushing. They're going to be 3 wide for second, coming to the white flag this time by.
Yep, and Sam Donato is there at the end of this race in that 00 car. And then we've also got Ricky Freeman Jr. in the 01 back there. This is going to be a really fascinating final lap because they're so strung out. Everybody is starting to catch back up thanks to the draft, and Sam Donato is just barely not close enough to make a move. We've got Jake McMillan right there. We've got Patrick Smith, and we've got a smoker on the inside. Thank goodness they were out of the way. This is it. This is the final lap. They're coming down the backstretch. We're going to see if Sam Donato is able to make it. He's not going to be able to make a move at all because Jake McMillan is going to be there. Patrick Smith is going 3 wide for second place. This is awesome for the 92 car of Jeffrey Finguy.
Coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. It was Lane Sanders blowing up on the inside. His race is over. But coming off turn 4 for the final time, Jeffrey Finguy's got a comfortable lead ahead of the pack. And off of turn 4 for the final time, Jeffrey Finguy's going to score a big win at Pensacola in a wire-to-wire finish ahead of Jake McMillan, who gets his best finish of the season in second place, ahead of Henry Thomas getting a podium in third place. Patrick Smith, another top 5 for him in fourth place. Justin Hutchinson fell back to 5th at the end, ahead of Sam Donato in 6th, Ricky Freeman Jr., the shootout winner from March, in 7th, Bobo Jones 8th, and then you had to go all the way 4 seconds back to catch up to Jared Polansky, who fell all the way back to 9th at the end, with Roberto Kern Jr. rounding out the top 10, 4 seconds off this lead group, headed by Jeffrey Finguy, who scored a very commanding victory in this race. Man, it just goes to show you never know what'll happen when the checkered flag flies. We only had 14 cars finish this race on the lead lap. We only had 22 cars finish this race at all.
Oh my goodness. You know, that's just absolutely incredible. The crash that wiped out most of this field in the very beginning, that was just an unfortunate situation there. But man, the remaining cars really just put on a great show for us. I had no idea who was going to win this race. There were so many fast race cars, and Jeffrey Finguy, he got it done. You know, he made the right moves around the lap cars. He was able to stay ahead when he got ahead, and then he pulled off the victory. So great job from that 92 car, and then another fantastic race here at Pensacola.
We will be back next March for the 2022 Pensacola 500 to cap off another round of Speed Weeks in 2022. We hope you'll join us for that. But right now, next week, the One Up Superstar Series heads over to Dover International Speedway, the Monster Mile, for 100 laps of action there. We hope you'll join us for that race, because Miles the Monster, he sure likes to eat mangled race cars. And I'm sure he'll have plenty to savor when we head over to Dover in 1 week's time. So, From Duke and Zach, and from myself as well, we're saying goodbye from Pensacola Super Speedway for the final time this season. And congratulations to Jeffrey Finn guy. He pulled one out of the water. He's got his third win of the season, and he does it on the high banks of the Pensacola Super Speedway, the biggest win of his career so far.